The day cash died, hyperinflation's darkest secrets. Picture a world where money, the lifeblood of commerce, turns into worthless scraps overnight. In Germany, people once plastered their walls with banknotes and burned stacks of cash to keep warm, as the German mark became so devalued it wasn't even worth using as toilet paper. In Zimbabwe, a single banknote bore so many zeros it was impossible to count, and in Hungary, prices doubled every few hours, obliterating savings and dreams in the blink of an eye. These aren't dystopian fantasies, they're real chapters from history, where hyperinflation turned thriving economies into wastelands of despair. This is the story of hyperinflation's devastating power. A gripping saga that reveals why unchecked money printing can bring nations to their knees and what it means for your financial future and today's volatile markets. Buckle up, because this journey into the financial abyss will change how you view money forever. In post-World War I Germany, the nation was crushed under the weight of war reparations. To pay its debts, the government turned on the printing presses, flooding the economy with marks. The result? Prices doubled every few days, and a loaf of bread that cost billions one day could cost twice that by the next. Money lost all meaning. People carried wheelbarrows of cash to buy groceries, only to find prices had soared again by the time they reached the store. The financial system collapsed, credit evaporated, and within months, millions were unemployed. This wasn't just economic chaos, it was a societal implosion that fueled political unrest and paved the way for one of history's darkest chapters. Across the globe, Zimbabwe faced a similar nightmare. The government, desperate to fund mismanaged policies and political crises, printed money at a breakneck pace. The result was a banknote so absurdly large it became a global symbol of economic failure. Prices doubled every day, rendering savings useless. A cup of coffee bought today would cost twice as much tomorrow, and by the end of the week, your entire paycheck couldn't buy a single cup. The economy ground to a halt as people abandoned work. Quite when money evaporates before you can spend it. Businesses shuttered, shelves emptied, and desperation took hold. Hungary's ordeal was even more surreal. Prices doubled every few hours, making it impossible to plan or save. A worker's wages, earned in the morning, were worthless by lunch. The financial system buckled, production plummeted, and society teetered on the edge of collapse. These stories, now told as cautionary tales, were catastrophic for those who lived through them. Hyperinflation didn't just erode wealth, it shattered trust in money itself, turning economies into chaotic games where the rules reset daily, leaving everyone scrambling to survive. Why is hyperinflation so terrifying? Imagine stashing money under your mattress to buy 100 cups of coffee today. In a normal economy with mild inflation, you might lose a cup or two's worth of value each year. Annoying, but manageable. You work harder, save more, and keep going. But in a hyperinflationary spiral, like Zimbabwe's, your 100 cups today become 50 tomorrow, and by next week, you can't even afford a sip. What's the point of earning when your wealth vanishes overnight? Money becomes a hot potato. You spend it as fast as you get it because saving is futile. This isn't just a financial problem, it's a psychological and social disaster. People stop working, businesses collapse, and the economy spirals into a vicious cycle of scarcity and soaring prices. The root cause of hyperinflation is almost always the same: governments printing money without restraint. In Germany, war reparations forced the government to print marks to cover debts. In Zimbabwe and Hungary, political crises and mismanagement led to the same reckless solution. Printing money seems like an easy fix. Governments can pay bills, fund wars, or plug budget holes. But it's a trap. Each new banknote floods the economy, boosting demand while supply stays flat or shrinks. Prices rise, then skyrocket. As inflation accelerates, people lose faith in money, hoarding goods instead of saving. This slashes production, as workers see no point in laboring for worthless cash. Supply dwindles, prices soar higher, and the cycle feeds itself, spiraling into what economists call hyperinflation, inflation so rapid it's measured in exponential terms. You might wonder, if governments know printing money causes this chaos, why do they keep doing it? It's not stupidity, it's desperation. Wars, reparations, or political turmoil often leave governments with no choice. In Germany's case, crushing Versailles Treaty debts left no room for restraint. In Zimbabwe, political corruption and land reforms tanked the economy, forcing money printing to keep the government afloat. Once the cycle starts, it's nearly impossible to stop. Even if a government halts the presses, the damage is done. People have stopped working, production has collapsed, and goods are scarce, driving prices higher through supply shortages. This cost-push inflation compounds the initial demand-pull inflation from excess money, creating a feedback loop that's catastrophic. The consequences are apocalyptic. In Germany, hyperinflation wiped out the middle class as savings vanished and jobs disappeared. The resulting unrest fueled extremist movements, contributing to political upheaval. In Zimbabwe, hyperinflation turned a once prosperous nation into a barter economy, with citizens trading goods to survive. Hungary's collapse left its currency worthless, forcing a complete monetary reset. These crises show that hyperinflation doesn't just destroy money, it dismantles trust, productivity, and stability. Financial systems grind to a halt, banks stop lending, and businesses can't function when prices change by the hour. So, what does this mean for you in 2025, as global markets navigate a world of $50 trillion in quantitative easing? Hyperinflation may seem like a distant horror, but its lessons are urgent. First, protect your wealth from inflation's erosion. Cash loses value daily, converted into assets like stocks, real estate, or commodities that outpace inflation. Index funds, as Warren Buffett advises, offer steady returns over time, averaging 10% annually. Gold and silver, historically stable, can hedge against currency devaluation. Second, diversify your income. Relying on a single paycheck is risky in volatile times. Build passive income streams through investments or side ventures. Third, stay informed. Hyperinflation often stems from policy missteps, like unchecked money printing. Monitor central bank actions and global trends to anticipate risks. Finally, cultivate resilience. Hyperinflation teaches us that wealth isn't just about money, it's about adaptability. In Germany, those who bartered goods or invested in tangible assets survived better than those clinging to cash. In Zimbabwe, entrepreneurs who pivoted to foreign currencies or barter systems weathered the storm. The financial markets reward those who act decisively and stay flexible. Whether you're investing in stocks, trading futures, or starting a business, the key is to stay ahead of the curve. Learn from history's warnings. Money can betray you, but knowledge and strategy endure. In today's world, where central banks are pumping trillions into economies, the specter of inflation looms large. Hyperinflation may not be imminent, but its lessons are timeless. Protect your wealth, diversify your assets, and never stop learning. The financial markets are a battlefield, but they're also a land of opportunity. Step into the arena armed with the lessons of Germany, Zimbabwe, and Hungary, and you'll be ready to thrive no matter how wild the markets get.